community is really strong once you find it.
There she goes again.
There are definitely things that like the outside person looking in like wouldn't necessarily know.
It becomes so part of my regular like trade for trade paperback when a volume of single issues are collected together.
The term variant is like something that is used in everyday comic book language. A variant is this is sort of where like the collectability comes into play, where like there'll be an issue that's released and then there'll be like the regular cover, and then there's going to be like a bunch of different covers that are like way rarer.
A pull, if you have a pull, that means it's a subscription that we pull them out of the box, we reserve it to the side. I think I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and I was raiding my dad's comic books. Silver Surfer, Batman, a lot of old DC stuff. So it was always something that was kind of in the household. My whole family are lovers of comic books. My brother-in-law has his doctorate in comic books. Along with all the books that were on the bookshelves, there were the graphic novels as well.
I think I first got into comic books when I was probably about like 12 years old. Probably even before. I mean, like, I read comic strips like throughout my life when I was a little kid, and it sort of helped me learn how to read. My first actual comic book was probably a Calvin and Hobbes comic book I had when I was like 7 years old. I remember getting it from the bookstore and just like reading it over and over and over again until it fell apart.
I read some comics there, one in particular called Mouse, and that was the first graphic novel I read that made me realize that you could communicate stories in a different way that was really cool. I do a discussion group once a month called Queers in Comics and Gays, so that the gay community who like comics, we can talk about that sort of thing. We also do a book club once a month. We want to create that kind of community because the internet has created online communities, but that physically being with another person, looking at them, talking to them about things that spark their interest, it doesn't happen as much anymore. We want to maintain that, and I think that's why a lot of people still come in and get their physical book.
Comics sort of have like that special thing that no other literature sort of has. Well, I think that the stories are much more outside of the box, and I think the collaboration between the artist and the writer is like a really important thing because it's two minds working together. Like in the comic book world, that's everything. Other books don't really have that, you know, and just the fact that like you can tell a great story, you know, with art. It's not just about the actual writing, but it's like it's both put together, and it's made into something that's just like completely different.
A lot of people think of comics as light superheroes. There's a lot of depth in both the art and the literary world in graphic novels.
I think I found this community just because I was into comics and because like I wanted to find other people that were sort of like-minded. You know, I would go to the different comic shops as just like a customer, and I would get to know, you know, all the people who worked there. They obviously were into the same stuff I was.
As the manager here, I work about 70 hours a week. Profits are usually going to be around 5%. So with like comes down, I get paid probably about $7 an hour.
Alright, very brief.
It requires a very large, intense amount of physical work because there's not a lot of shortcuts you can take in this job. Handling individual issues is labor intensive. That being said, I get to have a career in my hobby, my passions. I love comics, I love gaming.
Do you ever feel ostracized by society, or do you feel ostracized by society like now?
So I guess we
arrived
here and
say we're here to help.
So definitely, as a girl reading Spider-Man when I was growing up, absolutely. Post high school, that sort of bullying didn't really happen. A lot of people who do read comics think that there's still a stigma. But these characters and these tropes, like Batman,
that's a good idea.
Think about it, everyone loves Batman.
I have witnessed like people being ostracized throughout the years, Personally, I never have, and I think because it's becoming like much more mainstream, like it's much less of a problem than it has been in the past. Like I think liking comics is considered way more cool now than it was, you know, like 15 or 20 years ago. A lot of other hobbies. I'm a musician, so I play in bands all over the place, and I do a lot of studio work. And I play sports and stuff as well. Like comics are definitely like one small facet of my life, but it's like a really important part.
Like I'm going out to a concert tonight. Yeah, so it's like I'm kind of your standard 30-something. I go out drinking with my friends. I go to concerts. I go dancing. You know.
What can you do? You see her walking on down the street. Look at all your friends that's
Comic books have totally changed my life.
you better hit her.
The person liking comics.
The name of Chris Couch.
How do you
Sorry.
think comic
It's okay.
10 years ago.
You know, answering it, but
Nose to the grindstone. Oh, very sorry about that.
sorry, I'm gonna
Probably need to edit that.
But you know she'll never